Welcome to today's Explainer, where we'll be looking at the mechanics of overnight brain recovery based on our source text. We're going to examine what happens when the brain's natural cycles are interrupted and what can be done to support the body's nightly restorative processes. I want you to consider this question for a moment. What if your brain fails to detox and heal overnight? Most of us expect aging to show up in obvious places, like our strength, our energy, our weight, or how long it takes to bounce back after a workout. But what often sneaks up on us is a decline in the quality of our recovery. Before we explore further, please note this is educational, not medical advice. Consider the quiet toll of daily life. Years of daily strain, poor habits, and getting too little recovery can quietly wear down the body's ability to restore itself during sleep. And the effects often appear during the day. You might wake up tired even after spending enough hours in bed. Your thoughts feel slower, your memories less reliable, and simple decisions take a lot more effort. You may lose patience more easily, feel emotionally fragile, or struggle to stay focused on a conversation. When this happens, the day just feels heavier before it has properly begun. So, the crucial point here is that the problem isn't always just how long you sleep. Restorative sleep really depends on several elements working together: adequate duration, high sleep quality, and proper timing. When sleep is shallow, fragmented, or poorly timed, the brain might not spend enough time in the deep sleep it needs for repair and renewal. The result is that you could be unconscious for hours without receiving the full benefits your brain and body were expecting. To understand why this matters, we need to look at the physiological mechanisms at work during deep sleep. This is when the brain carries out some of its most important overnight housekeeping. Specifically, the glymphatic system helps move cerebrospinal fluid through brain tissue. The whole purpose of this mechanism is to clear metabolic waste, which includes clearing out proteins like beta amyloid and tau that accumulate from your daytime brain activity. Beyond clearing waste, deep sleep supports memory consolidation. It helps repair the damage that accumulates in neurons during our waking hours. Furthermore, this overnight work plays a critical role in regulating inflammation and the body's stress response. This overnight work directly affects how you feel the following morning. A well-rested brain can pay attention, process information, regulate emotions, and respond to ordinary pressure with greater flexibility. Memory becomes easier to access, decisions require less effort, and the world simply feels less demanding. Contrast this with repeatedly interrupted sleep. When restorative sleep is missed, our attention becomes less dependable, reaction times slow down, brain fog makes ordinary tasks feel frustrating, while irritability and anxiety become much easier to trigger. This compounding reality can become a rather difficult cycle. Stress makes it harder to sleep deeply, and poor sleep leaves the nervous system more reactive the very next day. The body remains prepared for demands that never seem to end, while the time needed for repair keeps getting pushed aside. Eventually, the lack of recovery begins to feel normal, even though the body is definitely still paying the price. It is essential to note that this is a physiological recovery mismatch, not a character flaw, and the pattern isn't necessarily permanent. When restorative sleep begins to return, clarity, calm, and a sense of energy can return with it. We also have to observe the broader systemic costs. The consequences of repeatedly missing restorative sleep reach far beyond just feeling tired in the moment. Over time, poor sleep is associated with wider problems. These involve our metabolism, our immunity, cardiovascular health, and our long-term brain health. The brain and body simply have fewer opportunities to clear waste, repair daily damage, and restore emotional balance. Try this: building conditions for better recovery. It starts with foundational daytime and environmental habits. The text advises keeping a consistent bedtime and wake time. It highlights getting outdoor daylight early in the day and moving regularly during the day. Environmentally, it recommends keeping the bedroom dark, quiet, cool, and comfortable. Finally, it notes the importance of nourishing the body with adequate protein, fiber, vegetables, fruit, legumes, nuts, seeds, and fish. As the day winds down, the source notes that specific evening adjustments become critical. It advises finishing intense exercise at least 2 hours before bed and reducing caffeine and energy drinks later in the day. A key behavior modification outlined is protecting the final hour before bed from bright screens and mental stimulation. The document is very clear on this next point. It advises addressing persistent snoring, gasping, insomnia, repeated waking, or severe daytime fatigue directly with your medical team. The text warns against ignoring these symptoms and recommends discussing medication effects, targeted supplements, and sleep tracking strategies with health professionals. What not to do? Obstacles that hinder deep sleep. The text outlines common evening pitfalls that directly interfere with the brain's ability to power down. It warns against using phones, bright screens, or stimulating content during the final hour before bed. It also advises against scheduling high-intensity exercise close to bedtime or eating late-night meals heavy in sugar, saturated fat, or highly processed foods. The source also provides clear warnings regarding substances and aids. It cautions against relying on caffeine, energy drinks, alcohol, or cannabis to manage fatigue or improve sleep, and notes that white noise or over-the-counter sleep aids should not be assumed harmless. Furthermore, it warns against using sleep medications without medical supervision, combining sleep aids with alcohol, or taking stimulating supplements late in the day without discussing their timing with your medical team. And finally, the text makes this clear, concluding observation. Do not accept poor sleep as an unavoidable part of aging. Restorative sleep is one of the body's most important ways to protect memory, emotional balance, and brain health. Healthy aging is not only about adding years to life. It is about protecting the clarity, energy, patience, and independence that make those years worth living. Each night of better recovery gives your body a stronger chance to meet the next day well. These ideas are developed further in Embracing My Vitality, Living Well in the Modern World, and Living Well Without Diabetes, a practical approach to glucose control, available on Amazon worldwide. Will you protect the final hour before bed from bright screens tonight? Help raise awareness by reposting this clip. www.embracingmyvitality.com